Hey, thanks so much for downloading the episode. On the show today, we talk a little bit about how California is on fire and all of the mess that's bringing. Also, I had a chat with our mother as well. In Paula's world, we're talking about Ryan's birthday and something that she and Amy Schumer have in common. That and our ugly and awkward moments of the week. Thank you so much. Please shop lipandclip.com and Amazon for your holiday needs. Enjoy the show.
It's another uncensored look at the world around you from sisters who will say just about anything to anyone at any time. It's the Uggs. Jamie?
I was walking around Walmart the other day because sometimes I want candy.
Paula?
I can't have him walk around calling people twats.
Uncensored as always, it's time for the ugly truth.
Welcome to The Ugly Truth. This is episode 325.
Sorry. My throat's been a little thick lately.
You got a turkey leg stuck in your throat?
Yeah, right.
Well, there's just so much to talk about, Paula. I don't even know where to begin. I hope we can get through all of this. Welcome to The Ugly Truth. I'm Jamie. This is my sister, Paula. Hi, Paula.
We are Sisters Who Podcast.
We are Sisters Who Podcast. Real sisters. Real and true life sisters. So before we really get into it, as the whole world knows, California is on fire. Mm-hmm. We are in the valley neighboring the campfire, which is up in Butte County. And it is not started by a campfire, which I heard today by somebody. And I'm like, no, it was not started by a campfire. It actually, and most likely, was started by sparks off of a faulty PG&E line, electrical line, in someone's property in the middle of the woods. So with all of that going on, the valley fills with smoke. And there are days where it's not so bad, and then there are days where it looks like Beijing here.
I know.
And
our children are walking to school with masks on.
Yes. And so Wednesday, I had to go up to Folsom, which is up the hill a bit from where we are. They're like on the cusp of getting out of the valley, going towards Lake Tahoe. And so I went there because I had to drop something off at an embroidery shop for cheerleading. And so I drop it off. And I'm texting, and you know how this is. I'm texting Mom because although I don't talk to her often, when things like the air is really bad and stuff, I worry about her a little because she's not old, but she's not freaking young. And she's kind of a sensitive flower sometimes with things like that. So yes. I texted her and I said, do you have your bird flu mask? And I was just kind of joking around, right? And she's like, oh, I know, the air's so bad. And I said something else about it. And I said, yeah, I'm kind of thinking about getting one because my mouth feels like chalk. Like I feel like the inside of my mouth, I've been eating chalk all day. Mm-hmm. And I said, I think I'm developing a cough actually. And I'm sitting in the car doing this. And then I get out because all I have to do is just drop this off and leave. I don't have to stay. So I get out, I'm walking in the smoky air, and then Mom calls me. And I answer, I go, hello. And she's like, I don't want to text you all of this information, Jamie Lynn. I just want to call and find out what's going on. Why do you have a cough? Are you not wearing a mask? And I said, no. I said, I think it's a mixture of the smoke and the allergies because allergy season, it always gets a little bad when things get cold. And so I said, I think that's really all it is. I ended up talking to her for 20 minutes. I'm standing in the air. And I said, I'm like, Mom, I'm really just trying to go into the store and drop this off. She goes, oh, well, anyway. So
she gives a shit.
She's like, yeah, I don't care. And so I said, well, she goes, well, Jamie, you need to get the N95s. Don't just get any old mask. And I said, yeah, I know. I'm aware. And I said, I keep putting it off because I don't want to be one of those people who panics and gets masks to go out and check the mail. I don't know if we're at that level yet. And she said, oh, well, I haven't either, but I'm thinking, she goes, I just don't go outside.
That's what we've been doing. We don't go outside.
Yeah. And I said, well, that's pretty much what I've been doing too, but I do need to go out and get some food. And, there's a holiday coming and I need to get out there and there's a bunch of shit I got to do. It's just one of those things where you can't avoid it forever. At some point I've got to go out and mingle with society. And so I said, so I've been thinking about it. And she goes, well, just make sure you get the right ones and all that stuff. I said, I will. I said, it's funny. This is the first time in a long time that I've thought, if anything were to happen in our area, like a fire or something, we don't really have any emergency bag with all of our stuff that we can just grab and go. And so at least we'll have things. And she said, Jamie, you don't have a go bag? And I said, no.
What, does Mom have a bug out bag?
Yes, Paula. She does. And I said, here's the thing with Mom, though. For as long as I can remember, our mom has always had emergency preparedness things.
Yes.
She always has cases of water.
Yeah.
She always has first aid kits in in all the cars, in the house, all that stuff. She's got emergency flashlights. She has a go bag. And she said, but don't listen to them when they say to put your medicine in there because they only give you a 30-day supply and they expire. So it's stupid. And I said, right. And she said, yeah, our emergency paperwork was in a thing in a safety deposit box on the top of our closet. We thought that's ridiculous. We'll never remember that in an emergency. So they took it down and now it's like near their bed or something like that. So they can just grab and go. And I said, yeah, it's weird. I never thought about it, but listening to all these harrowing stories about how people just grabbed literally like an apple and walked out the door, and then lost everything. It makes me wonder because we have stuff everywhere. We don't have it in one little place. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, we've got all of our Social Security cards and birth certificates and everything in one safe. And it's actually a fire safe. So even, I guess, if we forgot it, hopefully it would still be there. But
true. So I said, I really started thinking about that. I mean, I may need to just kind of pare down, get something safe, like a fire safe, and put the stuff in there so that, God forbid, anything happens, we have it.
Or you can grab it. Where
I can just take it and go. And she said, Jamie, at the very least, you need water. I said, okay, I will keep that in mind. She goes, I have everything, but I don't have a propane stove. And I told Paul we need to get one.
God.
I said, well, what about those little sternos? Those little things that caterers use to keep food warm at a wedding or whatever? She said, you know what? I was walking around Walmart the other day because sometimes I want candy.
Oh my God.
I was like, who are you? Who is this? Hello? Who are you?
Candy? When has candy ever been allowed in the house?
Oh, it doesn't go in the house. That's the thing. She goes, well, because sometimes I feel like I want a little candy. She goes, and I was walking by the aisle and I saw those things and thought, maybe that's something I should add to my emergency supplies. And I said, well, yes, you should. She goes, Jamie, we're old. We don't grill anymore. So those would be perfect. I said, okay. I'm like, I don't know who this woman is, but I'm loving her, and I just want it to stay.
Maybe this is what retired people do. Some golf and some prepare for the end of the world. I don't know.
She just is a different human. It's almost like she's just resigned herself to disaster will come, and I will be as prepared as possible, and if I make it, awesome. If I don't, well, you can have my candy.
I mean, what's she going to eat? Squirrel?
Oh, no, Paula. I haven't even gotten to the best part. She has purchased those rations that are good for 25 years.
Oh, in those big buckets?
Yes, she's got a bucket. She's got the bucket. And all she needs is water, which she has.
She has, right?
She has the perfect amount because every person is allotted 4 bottles per day, I believe.
Wow.
So she's got that all worked out. She's got the food. Now she's got the sterno. She's all set. And she goes, and Jamie, you need your own go bag. And I said, well, apparently so. My God. So that's on my list. I've got to get prepared for the end of the world.
My goodness.
And I did purchase through our Amazon link, I did buy some N95s.
Oh, okay.
But because I am a diva, I had to get
like guns.
I had to get black ones.
Oh.
So they look good. And then, of course, I told Daryl, I said, so I bought you and Malia some N95 masks. I don't expect you to wear them, but just in case, if it gets worse, we should have them. And he goes, and what about you? And I go, oh, I got one too. He goes, but yours is different, right? He goes, what is it? Is it better? I said, no, it's not. It's the same. However, it does have a pink design on it. I didn't think you'd want to wear that one.
That is so funny.
I know. So anyway, they finally closed the schools this week. I mean,
God, it took freaking forever.
Did you want them to close them?
I did, because
Really?
every time I dropped her off and I saw her walk off into an orange sunset that looked like Beijing, and I'm just like, God.
I know.
Couldn't stand it. I was thinking of keeping him home because I'm just like, this is bullshit.
I just not the PSI, the AQI or whatever they call the air quality whatever
index.
I woke up this morning and I checked it. purpleair.com. If you haven't gone to it, Paula, you should totally check it out. I was so surprised how accurate everything is.
We are so close to the worst air where I live.
I know. Well, like last night here, it was 357, which is it's hazardous to anything that breathes. Mm-hmm. This morning, it was 197, and I was like, "Oh, that's great! It's gone down so much." Literally, I'm watching it climb as I'm looking at the website. They think it's gonna be really bad today. It's insane. Now, of course, we can complain about the air quality, and then I don't know about you, but I immediately think about all of the families that have been killed, all of the people who are missing.
I know.
We have the least of it. It's only going to get worse. And I told Daryl, I said I was watching this and I think it's the PG&E lines. In relation to that, Erin Brockovich is going to be all over this shit. Like is going to, I mean, PG&E doesn't even want to hear her name because she has caused them more trouble in 20 years than anybody else. She's going to represent all those people. You watch. Erin will be there. She's like, I represent the city of paradise.
God, that's terrible.
Yeah. It's not Julia Roberts, Paula.
No, I know.
It's a real person.
I know who she is.
Yes. Okay, so on to funnier things. Ryan's birthday is conveniently during Thanksgiving, so he always has so much turnout for parties.
I know. Some years it's a couple days in between. This year, it's literally the day before Thanksgiving. So we'll do something together as a family.
Right.
It's a big birthday. It's his 13th birthday.
Yeah.
And he has no idea what he wants to do.
It's a weird time in a child's life.
He's absolutely clueless. And
he's not a boy, yet not yet a man.
I know. He's not a boy.
A boy, not yet a man.
I'm trying to help him. I've given him so many ideas, and he's, of course, shot them all down.
Yes.
And so now he's just like, I just want to do something easy. Like, we could just go to Denny's and then, like, maybe go see a movie or something. And then, of course, the next day he's just like, we're down to going to Denny's and seeing a movie. And I'm like, well, that's what you said you wanted to do.
Oh, my God. Puberty is so joyous. What a joyous time in our children's lives.
I'm just trying to figure something out. I don't know.
Stop feeling, first of all, don't feel guilty. Okay. I mean, he's being a little dick because he's pubertied. That's all there is to it. It's like, you make it so difficult to want to love on you and actually give you things when you're being this unpleasant. How about we decide and you just come along? And if you like it, great. If you don't, go to your room. I'm like, birthdays, honestly, I think that mothers should be praised on birthdays. Mm-hmm. We did all the work.
True.
We're the ones that brought you into this world. You should be celebrating us.
That 8-pound massive watermelon head of his.
God, it's
when
like,
I was 100, when I weighed 136 pounds.
It's like, do you even want to know what my stomach looked like before your existence? I want to tell you the sacrifices I have made, young man.
I look like I had been shot.
And then when you get a daughter and you tell her that stuff, because trust me, I've done it. Mm-hmm. The son won't, but the daughter will always go, I did not ask to be born. Like, all right. I'm like, you know what? You didn't. You're right. This is all my fault. I brought this all on myself.
That's true. And the worst part is Victor has to work that day. So, as he does at Thanksgiving Day. But he doesn't think he's going to have to work that day. But anyway, so I'm just out of options here. So we'll see how Ryan feels on his birthday, I guess. We'll gauge how his hormones are.
You guys can go to laser tag or something, or Top Golf, or bowling, or...
We threw out all the ideas. We threw out bowling, and he says no. And then he's just like, well, maybe we'll just go see the new Creed movie. And I'm just like, that looks good.
I'd go to that.
But then Olivia can't go, so then it would just be me and him, or Victor and him, and we don't exclude anyone. So,
well, this is what we do now. What we did as kids got older, and we actually don't have parties every single year for the kids anymore. I mean, birthdays are great, but they don't require big sweeping galas every year or big events. Mm-hmm. I can't think of any of our kids that had a 13-year birthday party, to be honest with you. We always do a family dinner. Mm-hmm. We let them choose to a degree because, if it's up to kids, it's pizza or, right. Something terrible and nothing fun. So we would always say, well, what do you want to do? We're like, oh, we want pizza. So we would go to the fanciest pizza joint we could find downtown.
Right.
Something really different so that they can see, how the other half lives. It's not all, Mountain Mike's. Sometimes we actually go to a restaurant where we have to sit down and order pizza. And then, get them a nice present. And then we always get them cake or something for home. And then that's it. And right. They're happy with it. They're good with it. And then we just move on with our lives. And then other years, we'll have, 8 or 9 kids come over. I don't know if it's our upbringing or what, but we've had 2 really big birthday parties for kids. And that's pretty much it. We don't really make it a big thing anymore, but we do make it family oriented.
That's how ours are kind of turning as they're getting older, the little kid parties. Like last year, I think we invited over 3 boys to come spend the night. Only one could come over. Yeah. And it was like a fight night or something like that. So we watched the fight and stuff like that. But no, we talked about going to a nice steakhouse and everything like that. But then I'm just like, geez, after the steak and the gift and everything like that, you're spending $500. So I'm just maybe not, because he really wants an Xbox One.
Oh, we'll get him that instead and go happy birthday.
Well, I was thinking of getting it for Christmas. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm just so conflicted. So we still have negotiations going on to see what's going.
And it is hard when their birthday's so close to a big holiday where they're going to get a bunch of stuff. Mm-hmm. But maybe I'm just dead inside, because I know there are some people it's our birthday for a week, and I don't not like those people. It's just, it's a day. I'm super happy you're here, and I'm so glad you had a great year. This next year is going to be super fun. So many changes. Here's your favorite food. Here's a little thing that you reminded me of how great you are, and then let's just move on with our day. I don't like the big galas, like I said. I think they're a little indulgent, but I also have come to realize in my life that I am alone a lot of times on this stuff. And I mean, because after a certain age, I don't mean when they're little. We used to have huge ass parties when they were little, but as they get older, it's it becomes a little more reserved, or they want to spend time with their friends and not you,
Right.
So it's send him and his friends to the movies. So that's kind of the thing. It's you want to go see Creed, invite 2 friends. I'll drop you guys off and I'll pick you up when it's over. We did that a lot.
Yeah, but the struggle is it's literally the day before Thanksgiving. So.
Well, unless they're going out of town, they're not available. But
most of his friends do.
Yeah. Well, so. I'm not saying, I'm not giving you a specific, I'm just saying in general,
that would have been a great idea. And I've told him that a lot about his friends and stuff, but he's just they're all going out of town. So.
You know what? That's a lie.
Probably. He probably never even asked him. But
of course not. He's just being Eeyore at 13, which they all do. So
well, how about we just don't even celebrate your birthday?
That sounds good.
Give you a bag of dog poo.
If I had been there, I'd been you know what? I love that idea, Paula. Let's do that. And then he'd look at us who are you people? You're evil. You're go change your tampon. Bye.
We'll think of something.
You will, and it'll all work out just fine. No reason to make Herculean efforts over a 13-year-old birthday. It's easy. Speaking of Herculean efforts, though, I wanted to say something. I don't know when you turned on Amy Schumer. I still like her. I think she's super funny. But you don't like her as much, so I thought it was hilarious that you two actually have something in common. Amy Schumer is pregnant. I believe she's in her 4th or 5th month of pregnancy.
That's not what we have in common, everyone, just so you know.
I'm getting to it.
Okay.
She is hospitalized currently because she has what you had, which is the excessive morning sickness. It's hyperemesis gravidarum. What?
Hyperemesis.
Hyperemesis. Okay, not mesis. Hyperemesis. Yeah, hypermesis probably means something else.
Probably.
Hyperemesis, yes. And it's when it's not just being morning sickness in your second trimester. It is debilitating. I've seen it. I've watched you go through it. It's brutal. And she has it, so she's in the hospital right now. I believe Princess...
Oh, the Duchess of Cambridge, Kate, she had it with her pregnancies.
All three, where she was in the hospital for most of her pregnancy because they couldn't keep her from throwing up, which means you need, you actually lose weight. And I mean, it's not even just that though. I mean, you're dizzy, you're unable to keep any food down. I mean, it's a really bad thing. I saw it myself. Well, with you, I saw it and I was like, I've never seen anything like this in my life. Did you have it with both kids or just Olivia?
Just Olivia.
Little Jewel.
I know.
So I found that funny how she's like, guys, I'm sorry I can't come to Texas. And I'm like, honey, you're going nowhere for about 3 more months.
Yeah.
You're done touring.
I don't know how far along she is, but, fortunately I was able to get past it around 22 weeks.
She just said that whoever said second trimester was better was lying. So she's at least 4 months, if not 5 months pregnant.
So she's probably like 15, 16 weeks.
At the least. And I know, I remember when we were in the throes of it and you're like, if it wasn't immoral, I would abort this child right now. I mean, you have to be desperate to be thinking about it. We all knew you weren't going to do, I mean, obviously.
No, I would have never done that.
Never,
but I mean
you're
to
like,
be that ill.
And to actually have that thought cross your mind.
You just think thoughts to make the pain go away.
Well, it's one of those things, if you've ever been that sick over anything, even though it won't last forever and you're laying there going, if I died right now, I'd be okay with it. I mean, it's that bad.
It's true.
I remember.
It's just so weird how some people get it and some people, but Mom had it.
She did. She had it with, I don't know if she had it with me, but she definitely had it with Stephanie.
I think she had it with Stephanie because she says, I remember laying on the floor playing with Jamie. Because I couldn't sit up or stand up because I was constantly throwing up. And she had to go to the doctor's office once a week to get some sort of shot.
Which did nothing, obviously.
No.
Oh, the anti-nausea medicine. Yeah.
Yeah, they gave me the same anti-nausea medicine they give to cancer patients. And it was like taking Tic Tacs.
You're like, this is doing nothing for me.
So,
Next.
I should have smoked a joint.
Who knows? Maybe. And then it reminded me of the other thing that I believe, I don't know about Allison or you. Well, I think you did. But Mom, Stephanie for sure, and I, with my last pregnancy, we all had the same thing. It's called tealism gravidarum, which is excessive saliva.
God.
And it's funny because we were going to talk about this on the show today, I Googled it to see if I could get the Latin term, because there's no actual name for it other than the Latin name for it. They don't know why it happens. The only thing that cures it is having the baby. And sometimes, and this happened to me, if I'm having an incredibly hormonal menstrual cycle, my mouth will I will get the excessive saliva again.
It will come back.
In fact, it's happened to me in my lifetime after I've had children where it happened. I went, oh my God, am I pregnant? Like, I freaked out. I said, why is this happening? Which is worse, do you think? The sickness through 5th month or the excessive saliva that doesn't go away till you have the baby?
Oh, the sickness, Jamie.
Oh,
because, I mean, it causes migraines and,
God, I know.
Everything. So, I mean...
The saliva thing, though, I will say, I remember our poor sister, because she had morning sickness. We all do, but she had morning sickness and the saliva. And when we're talking excessive saliva, we're not talking just a little bit. You know when your mouth waters when you're getting ready to vomit?
Yeah.
It's like that all the time. All the time. And so...
You don't want to swallow that.
I'm getting a little nauseous, reminding myself of those times when I had it. Stephanie would sleep with a washcloth in her mouth. Because she couldn't take it. She's like, Jamie, I would drool all over my pillow because I'd sleep with my mouth open. It would collect so fast.
Yeah, that's true.
God, I'm trying really hard not to get sick. She would sleep. And I will never forget this. I was, let's see, we're 8 years apart, right? We're just under 8 years apart. We were at the grocery store. Mom was pregnant with you. And she was really pregnant. Like, she was like in her last trimester with you. And she would walk around with a coffee cup, a styrofoam cup that people in the old days, they used to give you coffee at like AA meetings.
Yeah.
She would hold one of those and spit in it at the grocery store. She had no choice.
Well, I remember you were spitting in a Crystal Geyser bottle when we went to Tyler's open house.
Yes. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, I can't walk around with a... I read a thing that said some ways that you can combat this. Chew gum. I'm like, nope, that's not going to do anything.
Okay.
Spit, obviously. They said, you use tissues to wipe your mouth out. I'm like, tissues? Those things would dissolve in about 3 seconds. Those
How would I
useless.
Just spit in the whole box?
Yeah, Paula, it is. I mean, the morning sickness is bad. And I remember, my last pregnancy was the worst, but the saliva thing, watching mom walk around with a cup full of saliva, man, I hope that all people, of whether you've been pregnant or not, we all have our war stories of getting through it. And if you've never, just sympathize with your mother, because trust me, she's been through hell. I mean, it's even those pregnancies where they look like, like not Kate Upton, but Kate Hudson. She had her baby and she's like 40. And she was doing yoga and wandering around, drinking smoothies and barefoot in her, wonderful life at Malibu or wherever she lived. I'm like, yeah, that's what we're seeing. That does not mean that that's what it was like.
God.
At all.
That's just when she chose to go out in public.
Exactly. So, yeah, pregnancy is hard, man. And all I could think of is, and it's funny how that's what we remember. It's like we have the joy of the baby, but getting to that point, percolating that little thing, all the hell our body puts us through, it's so crazy. It's like our body is confused. It's like, why are you doing this to yourself? What is the point?
I know. And then when Olivia came out, she was like 6 pounds something. And I'm just like, that's all? Like this little tiny nothing?
This is what was causing all the trouble?
Almost killed me?
It's so true.
I'm like, you need to test it for like alien blood.
Are you sure this is all it is? God. Okay, so speaking of hell, Daryl has a cold.
Oh, dear.
And here's the thing, because he produces the show, he has heard us talk many times about men and their illnesses.
Yes.
And so he's trying so hard not to be the cliche. Okay. And so it's making it worse. It's his version of trying to tough it out.
Oh,
because he doesn't want to hear about it, But it's not his fault. Men are not good at being sick, and I finally realized what it is that at least irritates me about men when they're ill. They are, in general, and these are very general terms, I know this doesn't apply to all men, but in general, healthy men aren't very big on details. They're not detail oriented. When they're talking to you, they kind of just give you a broad swathe of what they're talking about. They kind of gloss over the little things. It's just like when you ask a man to do something that you normally do. They technically do it, but there's the finesse is not there.
Right.
Now, there are men who work on cars and all that stuff, and they're very detail oriented because they have no choice. But in general, when we're talking about benign things, they tend to fold the socks wrong or the towels incorrectly, or they just don't care, or they miss a spot and you're like, it's so glaringly obvious. Why did you not see that? Until they get sick. And then suddenly they are very specific about their symptoms, about what part of their skin is hurting. They can tell you anything you need to know about any inch of their body everywhere. And so I said, oh, interesting. So Daryl was in LA. He called me and I said, what's wrong with you? He goes, nothing. Why? I go, you sound weird. Are you in work mode or something? He goes, yeah, I'm just really busy. I'm like, all right, well, I'll see you tonight. So I pick him up. He's got a raging fever.
Oh my God.
And I said, oh, are you well? He goes, I don't know. I'm feeling kind of tired. I said, well, you don't look right. So we get home. He is so sick. He's got a cold. So immediately, he's trying to sit up and, be tough, and he gets in bed. So once I decide I need to take care of him, because I'm like, okay, he's road weary. I get it. He's tired, so he's resting. And then he comes down the next day, and I said, I'm gonna make you soup. He's like, all right. He has his hoodie on over his ears. He's got his head covered in his hoodie. He's got his sweats on, and he's just walking around pathetic. And we're sitting down. I go, how you doing? He goes, my ears burn. They're burning. I go, your ears?
Burn?
He goes, yes. And he's grabbing them. And he's trying really hard not to be a baby because he knows that I have no sympathy whatsoever.
Does he have a fever again?
No, the fever's gone. And I said, well, that's really unfortunate. I go, would you like me to get you some Advil? And he's like, no, I'll get it. And I'm like, I have no problem with it. I'm getting up anyway. He's like, no, it's fine. You've made me soup. It's plenty. And I'm like, okay. All right, I'm going to bed. Good night. I'm like, I don't know what to do. There's no winning. There's just no winning, Well,
I mean, he said no.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. Good night.
Do you want like some cold compresses for your ears or?
I don't know. But he's like, I just feel, and I said, I get it. Men who normally don't notice the details of life suddenly are hyper aware. It's like my third finger is feeling very strange right now, and I'm not sure if it's okay. I'm not sure what's going on with it.
They always think they're gonna die.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, like I'm never gonna feel this way. I'm never gonna feel normal again. Help!
Like Victor said the other day, he's just like, my chest just really hurts. And I'm like, well, you go outside in this air and you smoke a cigarette. What do you think is gonna happen?
You're going to have respiratory arrest. God, just make sure your will's in order before you go back out there and puff away. Huh?
Yeah, really?
Yeah, so he's being a champion, in his way. He's doing his best, but he's really cranky. Really freaking cranky.
Well, that's no good.
No, it's not. But you know what? Hopefully we'll get through this. I'm like, look, you got to get better, because I don't want to deal with this and all the kids coming over for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, really. You can't be sneezing on the food.
I can't have you sitting on the couch wrapped up in a blanket looking like, Darth Vader. You're going to have to, do something.
Who's that over there? Oh, it's just Dad.
Oh, that's just Dad. Leave him be. He's watching his shows.
His shows.
He's watching Han Solo. Just leave him be.
How funny.
I know, right? Anyway, all right. Well, let's do our ugly and awkward moments of the week.
So it was later in the evening, and we were making dinner, and we realized we were missing something. And so we literally have a store like right up the street from our house. I was going to run out to the store, and Ryan decided to come with me. And so we were driving, and he did something I can't remember. And I said, knock it off, you twit. And he said, what did you call me? I'm like, what'd you think I said? Because my interest was piqued, I'm like, did he think I called him a twat? And if he did, how did he know what that word was?
Oh, yeah. That is weird.
So he's like, oh, I thought you called me what they call dogs. And I'm like, no, I did not call you that. He's like, what did you think you called me? I'm like, nothing. I'm like, nothing at all.
I don't know what you're talking about. Loud noises.
Basically.
That's hilarious.
And so yeah. And he's just like, seriously, he's like, what did you think you called me? And I said, well, I thought you heard me call you a twat. And he says, what's a twat?
Oh my God.
And I said, well, it's a vagina. He's like, Mom!
Oh my God. Well, I mean, he has to learn.
He's almost 13, so.
And he's never heard the word twat?
Well, I mean, Jamie, that term is
that old?
I think it's older than us.
Oh, yeah, well, for sure.
I mean,
for sure.
I can't have him walk around calling people twats. That's just.
I would laugh if I heard somebody say that, actually. I always laugh when I hear that word. I think it's funny, but.
No, it is. But I mean, it's just like. I think he'd get beat up for saying that.
Oh, God. You duck twat. Or something. I don't know. I think it's a funny word. But you're right. Somebody would hear it and go, what did you just say?
What's a twat?
Oh God! Then it would just travel like wildfire.
He'd either become like really, really popular, or he'd just get his ass kicked.
Some girl who's well into the Me Too movement would be like, "How dare you!"
Get his face slapped.
Yeah. Psh, don't you use that word? That's our word.
That's offensive for all women in America.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I
really.
know. It'll be fine.
There'd be a walkout.
Before I tell you my awkward moment, our mother just texted me.
Yes.
She has a hiatal hernia, which I don't know if you knew that or not.
Oh my gosh. I thought her stepdad had one.
He did, but our mother has had one like for 30 years. It's like forever. She's had one.
Dang.
I don't know what, but somehow she got a referral to a gastroenterologist, if that's how you say it. Uh-huh. And they're saying you may need to have surgery on this because if it prolapses, you could die. And so something must have changed. And so they decided to do some checking. So she did some tests, which she says are barbaric, which I'm going to get the whole intel next week, I assume.
Barbaric, does that include like invasiveness?
Yes. She had to have a tube put down her nose and into her stomach for 24 hours.
Was she asleep?
No.
Why?
She had to go home with it.
No.
That's what I said, and that's what she said. And she said, I told the surgeon, I'm going to pass. So whether you do it or not, it's not really here nor there. I'm not going to do these tests because she Googled the tests that she had to do, and they're not good, and they're painful and they're difficult. And so one requires you to swallow things, that you swallow a tube that has a camera so they can see how your esophagus and how everything swallows, the muscles and all that stuff. And then they want to see how your body basically handles the swallowing of food and water, so they can see how the system works. And I'm like, can't they do like an MRI or something? I mean, aren't we past this whole swallowing shit? Like, can't you just stand behind a screen and they can see through you?
I'd be like, film this swallow.
So she called and she told the surgeon, she's like, no, I'm not doing those tests. So we either do it or we don't do it. So he called her back. He said, listen, prolapse is no joke. You will die. And these tests are necessary to determine whether or not that will happen. So you're doing them. I memean, you can die if you want to, but I'm just saying this is the protocol. She's like, fine. So she went and did them on Wednesday, and I said, how'd they go? She goes, oh, they were horrible. I said, oh. She goes, I was the fourth person that day to go in and have these tests done because they're protocol for everybody, and I was the only one to get through them both.
Wow.
Everybody else tapped out. And I said, damn, they were that bad? And she goes, they were, but if you just listen to them and do exactly what they say, it's not like you're in pain. It's just really uncomfortable. And I said, okay. I have the worst gag reflex. I don't know how she did it. I mean, I have trays that I put in my mouth twice a day and I gag every time. So I don't know how she did it. But she just texted me and said that they're not doing surgery because she has a rare, shockingly, a rare disorder called achalasia, which makes it difficult for food and liquid to pass into your stomach. It occurs when nerves in the tube connecting your mouth and stomach become damaged. As a result, the esophagus loses the ability to squeeze food down, and the muscular valve between the esophagus and stomach doesn't relax, making it difficult for food to pass into your stomach. So there you have it. So no surgery, which is kind of good.
So how did they treat the other thing then?
Well, treatment focuses on relaxing or forcing open the lower esophageal sphincter so that food and liquid can move.
I love the word sphincter.
It's right up there with twat, you know? They dilate. They insert a balloon into the sphincter and inflate to enlarge the opening. This is an outpatient procedure. Does not need to be repeated. It may need to be repeated if the sphincter doesn't stay open. Oh, Botox. Hello.
Wow.
Mom will be like, I want the Botox. I know her. She's like, it's generally recommended only for people who aren't good candidates for pneumatic dilation or surgery due to age or overall health. She'll be like, I want that one. I'll take the Botox. There's medication if the Botox does not work. So she's going to do that. I bet you anything. She'll be like, give me the Botox And while you're at it, can you put a little here in my cheeks?
Yeah, really.
I would.
Want some by my eyes. That has nothing to do with your esophagus.
I realize you're going to put it down my throat and Botox my sphincter, but what I would really like is a little under the eyes.
Will there be any left in the vial? I'm just saying.
I just don't think we should have it go to waste. That's all I'm trying to say. So anyway, so there you go. Our mom, yet another rare disorder in our family. What a shock.
For heaven's
What
sakes.
a shock. Anyway, so here's my ugly and awkward moment. Mm-hmm. Daryl and I, as I told you last week, we went to the Sonoma coastline for a quick overnighter because he, like you said, wanted to pee on me before I went to Vegas. On our way back, you pass right by Napa. So we stopped in at Napa at our favorite champagne or sparkling champagne winery, Domaine Carneros. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't think I was really up for anything, but once you're there and the sun is shining and it's, it's beautiful and you're in a beautiful area, suddenly you're drinking glasses of champagne and you're having a wonderful day. So we were sitting there just enjoying some sparkling, and I had a glass of very expensive sparkling. I was indulging just for the fun of it, and I had to go to the bathroom. I was buzzed. No joke. I just was buzzed after a big glass of sparkling. It goes to my head very quickly, and I love it for that reason. Mm-hmm. So the host that sat us down at a very nice table was Asian, and I didn't think twice about it. And I said, okay, thank you. And so he's like, you're welcome. Have a great visit. Goes back to his station. So about 20 minutes later, I'm like, I have to pee so bad. So I got up and I went to the bathroom, and there was a little bit of a line. So I'm standing there waiting, and behind me is a gentleman. I thought it was the same guy. I thought it was the host. It wasn't. He was Asian.
Did you start talking to him?
I did. I said, hey. I hate myself so much. I turned to him and I'm like, hey, I've noticed this place looks a little different. Has there been painting done or new chairs or something? He looks at me as wide-eyed as he could, and he's like, maybe. And I said, yeah. I go, well, it's looking really good. And I'm talking to him like he's an employee. And I turn around and I go to the bathroom and I go in there. I'm like, you know what? I don't think that was the host. I think that was just a customer. I think that was just a person here drinking.
My God.
So I walk out and he's still waiting. And I'm like, okay, have a nice day. And so I walk out and sure as shit, there's the host at his station. I don't understand myself. I'm so mad.
I'm racially ignorant.
I'm ignorant. And on accident. It's an accident. I'm not one of those people, they all look the same. Here's the thing.
Well, in this case, I think you are.
God, I feel like such an asshole. Here's the thing, though. They were both wearing short sleeve button-up shirts.
Okay.
And they were very similar in pattern. And I don't know what part of me to blame. It's not nice, but it happened. It happened, and I'm learning my lessons. Don't generalize, Jamie.
Well, maybe you just weren't paying that close of attention to the host.
I wasn't. Anyway, it was very awkward, and I apologize to the Asian community because I don't believe you all look the same. God,
that's
horrible.
Pretty funny.
It was funny. Well, what was funny is I'm sitting on the toilet peeing going, oh my God, that's not the same guy.
You're starting to think to yourself like, you know what? I wonder if maybe that wasn't the host.
Because he really looked at me like I didn't know what you're talking about. And yes, this is a beautiful facility, but I'm not sure where we're going with this.
Then he goes back to his wife and be like, the strangest thing just happened to me.
How many times have we been the story at a party? I mean, I don't even want to know how many times you're like, you are not going to believe what I ran into at the grocery store the other day. This woman, how many times?
I know. I can't even count how many times I've almost walked into a men's room.
Oh my God, I have. I walked right in and I saw a really attractive man urinating at Target. I mean, it happens. It just happens.
Yeah, well, I think you win this week, definitely. That was funny.
Congratulations on teaching your son twat. I'm sure that will come in handy.
He's learning lots of new words as he gets older, so
it's a wonderful time to be alive.
Do you know what Olivia said to me? She said to me the other day, she's like, sometimes I want a new mom. Doesn't swear so much.
Oh, well, get over it. I've been like, you know what? I fucking do too, Olivia. I fucking do too. God. I don't, you know what? Swearing to me, for a long time when the kids were little, I made every effort to filter my filthy mouth.
Yeah.
I go through phases, actually. Sometimes I won't use any profanity. And then sometimes I'm just the filthiest person ever all the time. I don't know how that happens. I really don't. And I kind of respect my kids because they swear with me. Oh. Tyler doesn't. Tyler does not use profanities. Isn't that weird? Sometimes he will. I think he's a better person than I am.
Yeah, Olivia's extremely conservative, which I'm thinking maybe she's just still in the bubble that we raised her in. So...
Well, she's so little. I mean,
I don't expect her to swear or anything that.
No. But all kids should be in a bubble until they hit about 7th grade. And then suddenly the world becomes very real.
Right.
Suddenly it's a wake-up call.
Right.
You're like, the world isn't made of candy and Disneyland? What do you mean? I don't understand.
Yeah, I know.
It's a sad thing. You know, puberty is just brutal, man, because not only are you dealing with your body, but you're dealing with the fact that not everyone's the same, and people don't like people for no reason, and teachers have horrible, some of their teachers hate their life, and, it's like everything becomes you're very aware, and it's a hard part of life, but you know what? It toughens you up.
True.
That's how we survive and become adults.
That is true. So
this is it.
Yeah, this is it for a week. We're on Thanksgiving break, friends, and as you should be too. So we're going to take a little time off. There's going to be some exciting shopping done on Friday, Black Friday.
Yeah.
I would check Amazon and Avon because Black Friday, Cyber Monday, they kind of bleed together. So
well, and also I've noticed I got the email from Avon. They're already, if you've purchased from us before from lipandclip.com, you probably got notification that you have access to the Black Friday discounts now.
Cool.
And so that will be, it's like 20% off everything, 40% off other stuff. I mean, it's like really cool stuff. And I have to tell you, Paula, they have some really cute stuff this year.
Good.
Really cute stuff. I started doing the shopping for some cute things, and I really like their brushes. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at those because they have like the gift sets now for the brushes. So I can never have enough brushes. So I need to look at those. Me too. So that, and then Amazon, they're going to start, if they haven't already. I mean, their Amazon stuff is already a go usually. And this is, I think for us, this is an electronics year. All the kids want a new update on something. So we're heading to Amazon for sure.
Yeah, I think some people are going to be upgrading their consoles. So I would be checking out like the video game section. Mm-hmm. So anywho's, yeah, definitely check out the shopping. Enjoy your time with your family. Hopefully everybody has a good Thanksgiving. And we wish you well. Bye. Bye.
That's a wrap. Thanks for listening and sharing the show. See you next time on The Ugly Truth.